I want you to think of someone in your life that you would characterize as a good person. Do you have that person in mind? I have a person in mind. It's a pastor that I look up to, and this guy is a good guy. And as I've reflected upon his life, what makes him a good guy is both who he is on the inside, and then that's reflected on the outside. You see, it's no accident when Paul is describing the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians 5, verses 22 through 23. He lists 8 different fruit, and one of those fruits is goodness. Now, that Greek word for goodness literally means a life of integrity, a life of moral uprightness of heart. Tim Keller, he describes it this way: to live a life of goodness means to be the same person in every situation. In other words, when we live a life of goodness, and when we live with the fruit of goodness in our lives, it starts with who we are on the inside. That happens when we spend time with God, when we're in the scriptures, when we're in community, when we're praying, or when we're in church like we get to be this weekend. Whether we recognize it or not, our character is forming to be more like God. And I don't know about you, but I want to be like God. And so often in the scriptures, God's character is described as good, as moral, as upright, as perfect. And I want to be that way. And when we are close to God, not only is our character transformed, but our actions are transformed as well. What I love about the fall is when I get to go to the apple orchard and I'm looking for the perfect apple. And when I pick it off the tree, and of course, then I pay for it, then I eat it, there's something so sweet about that fresh apple. And that's a reflection of the healthiness of the tree. The same is true with goodness in our lives. When we are close to God and people pick the goodness fruit in our lives, it'll taste sweet and good. And it will remind that person, not just that we are a good guy or a good girl, but how God is good. What a great reminder that we can be for somebody. So let me ask you, when someone's interacting with you, whether in person, on the phone, over text, on social media, are they tasting the goodness of God? We literally have the opportunity to be God's presence and God's voice to somebody. That happens when we spend time with God and our actions reflect God. So let us become the good person that God is asking us to be, so that people can taste the goodness of God in and through our lives. Until next time, love you guys.